A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to another exciting, interesting talk here at the Kajiado We Want. My name is Nyambura. I will be your moderator for the day. And as always, a great delight to have all of you on board. And of course, remember to tell your friends, tell your family members, because today we have a very exciting testimony from a brilliant, wonderful young lady. And I would want all of us to be part of these. Of course, remember, we are live on our YouTube page, the Kajiado We Want, but you can access it through our Facebook page, again, the Kajiado We Want. So feel free to log in and join us. And as we begin, kindly allow me to go before the Almighty One to just thank Him for this brilliant day and for enabling us to meet again this evening to have another forum where we can talk, where we can engage, and where we can be together as we try to change our lives, as we try to change the lives of our community within Kajiado. And we are thanking God for the peace, tranquility, and calm that we are experiencing as a country. And we continue to pray for our leaders, that the Almighty will give them wisdom, that they will have understanding, and that they will do what is best for this country. I also pray for each and every one of us who is joining us, who has taken time off to be part of our weekly talks. And I pray that each one of us will be blessed and we learn something new that will help us better our lives, better the lives of those who are living among us and the lives of our community at large. And I pray that believing and trusting in the name of the Holy One. Amen. So once again, good evening from Kenya. In case you're joining us from anywhere else in any other part of the world, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from. Of course, it's always a pleasure and delight to have you be part of our weekly talks here at the Kajiado We Want. And of course, I am welcoming our speaker, Miss Sarah. Of course, we'll be getting to hear more about her. And at this point, I also would like to welcome our chairperson, Bwana David. Bwana David, karibu sana. It has been a while. We have missed having you as part of our talks. And if you'd kindly join us and just give us a word or two before we could jump into the talk for today. Bwana David, karibu.
Thank you very much, Nyambura, and most welcome everyone to the Kajiado We Want talk on Wednesday. I believe you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, we can.
And you can also see me as you have just greeted everyone. I realize, yes, we are online and it could be any time. Otherwise, hello, everyone. This is the Kajiado We Want, CBO, whereby we disseminate information every Wednesday on a topical issue of concern to the community, to the people of Kajiado, and even across the world. In this Kajiado We Want, the agenda is about empowering people and improving their livelihoods, just to make sure that we also collaborate with the government in areas where the community need intervention. So we are the bridge between the community and the government, and for all matters of development and any other area, we focus on a number of areas like infrastructure, advocacy for the vulnerable, health, education, security, water and sanitation, and many others. And for that reason, we encourage people to join us to listen to our talks, which are helping in disseminating information, and also to collaborate with us, because we also do it ourselves. Whenever there's an issue, we come together as a community in collaboration with entities. Some could be governmental or non-governmental, corporate, or even individuals, and we deal with an issue. For instance, we've been able to collaborate with Friends of Ololua Forest and Kenya Forest Services to plant trees. We adopted a space in Ololua, and we've been able to plant trees as well as educate people on afforestation. Thank you very much, Nyambura, our moderator for today, and Sarah, who is our speaker. And back to you, moderator.
Thank you very much, Bwana David. And of course, I'm sure David did not mention he is the current chair of the Kajiado We Want. And as you've heard, we are coming together as people within the sub-counties of Kajiado to try and make a difference in the community. Of course, there are various thematic areas that would touch on the lives of our people. Of course, creation of awareness on various topics is one of the things we do. And today we are lucky to be getting a very lovely lady who will be joining us. When I spoke to her, she just radiated light, just good vibes. And of course, I know today will be a very interesting talk. But as you've heard from David, we'd like to partner with you. We'd like to work together with you. So feel free to subscribe to our pages, get in touch with us. You can send a message to our Facebook page, and somebody will definitely be in touch on how you can join us and be part of us and even work with us. And of course, without much further ado, allow me to welcome our speaker for today. The topic for today is that no human is limited. And of course, today we'll be engaging or getting into a very beautiful journey of an awesome autistic adult. And of course, my point of departure is try imagine living your life where you know, but everyone around you is telling you that you are different. I would not want to imagine what, as a parent, you'd be going through where everyone is telling you, your child could be different. And even for the young lady that we are having today, it must have been a bit, a challenge, a difficult journey, but that did not stop her. And the one thing she said, or what she says she wishes and pray, is that she can help others to achieve their potential, because she was able to achieve that, and to gain access to information or anything that would address or further the rights of a neurodivergent member of the society. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Sarah Bosibori Itange, who, as I have mentioned, is an awesome autistic adult. She is loving, she is caring, and she has chosen this path where she shares her story and her journey to change the narrative about people who are living with autism. She is currently working as a community influencer at an online platform called Enable Me Kenya. And this platform promotes information sharing about things that affect the society, including healthcare, mental health, and matters affecting persons living with disabilities. She is an alumni of the Yali Regional Leadership East African Program cohort on public management. And she is currently the Persons with Disability Champions in the Nairobi chapter as a participant engagement committee member for the Yali alumni. And her role is to get persons with disability alumni engaging more with the fellow alumni community, where she has formerly, has formerly been known as Light of Autism Kenya, 2019-2020. And Sarah advocates, hoping to change, to get people or persons living with disabilities having better lives as they go about. She is a lover of all things genuine, and she leads our hopes to have inclusivity within the society as the key, and not just for the people who are living or who are neurodiverse, but all other members of the community. So welcome very much, Sarah. Of course, you can, as you have heard my my audience, Sarah wears many. And Sarah, if there is anything I've left out about who you are, I'd be more than glad to hear that from you. And for me, as a starting point, I would like to hear how old or how young are you, Sarah? I know it's very wrong to ask a lady what their age is, but allow me to be a bit different and ask Sarah, how young are you?
I'm young enough, but I'm like 29 years of age. I just turned 29 this year, May.
Congratulations.
So yeah, I'm living my last final years in the 20s.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Enjoy, Sarah, and karibu sana to the Kajiado we want. Looking forward to hearing your story. And Sarah, yes, karibu sana.
Asante sana. I'm very humbled and grateful to be here. It's always an honor to share my journey and just basically try and impact society as a whole.
Sawa, Sarah. Thank you very much. Again, I throw a question to you as you kick off. As you start on your journey as an awesome autistic adult, how can you help us define autism? For a layman, for a lay person, what would you say autism is? And feel free to jump right in.
Okay, so autism, as per my experience, um, it's a neurological condition that affects the development of an individual. In it comes with challenges that come across, probably with communication, um, as well as understanding, hyperactivity, missing some milestones on a non-autistic individual, a kawaida person, that is basically autism. Autism also is, it varies with an individual. So I might have issues with communicating, or I might have a bit of hyperactivity. So, autism comes with levels. There's the severe and there's the mild spectrum. So, on my spectrum, I'm on the mild, where I can communicate with you, I can articulate some things, my traits are a bit mild. They're mild. I might have a bit of issues, a bit issues, a bit of challenge in terms of, let's say, academics. It varies with each autistic individual. That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, but it's a neurological condition that affects the development of an individual. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that, Sarah. So the journey, if you just tell how has the journey been? When did this journey start?
The journey started immediately when I entered school. Let's say after daycare, and the teacher noticed that I have had missed some milestones. Probably there were issues of me not catching up with kids who are already learning how to have a handwriting. Uh, the same as when it comes to um, playtime. Um, sometimes I would appear alone. I would want to be alone, or um, not focused per se on like the playtime. So it was more pronounced in school, like from class 1 to class 5. They the teachers thought I was going through like you know how they say late bloomers. So they thought probably with more um with more time, the time between the teacher and myself, I'll improve. But that didn't work. So they ended up seeing other challenges like my academics, the way I could perform in class. Basically, it's one of the few traits that were, I won't say red flagged, but that were counted as there's a slight difficulty, and it's not like she's having less problem than other children in class, but basically difference between my peers in class and myself. So that's how they came to know that I was autistic, through my traits and my academic performances. So in class 5 is when I was transferred to a special school. And from then, that's when I started getting better. Um, I learned, the teacher, or rather the person that was giving me therapy, noticed that I was improving because of they had this way of teaching me per my pace of learning, and how fast I am or how slow I am in learning things. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Sarah. So before they move to their special school, or within the community, when people are just thinking that it's a delayed milestone, how was it, say, for your parents, for you? I know at times children can be unforgiving. How was life for you? Just getting to interact with your peers, probably your siblings, who, if they were younger, would probably have developed better milestones than you have. How was it for you and your parents?
Okay, for my parents, basically it wasn't something that was really something good to know that your child is going through a challenge. Basically, it's a lifetime condition. So it was saddening. And in the early 2000s, the awareness that is right now than before wasn't there. So there are many questions that my parents had. There were many misconceptions that people had. Finding schools actually was really hard. At some point, I was left home for like a week, so that we can start looking, or they can start looking for a school that is suitable for my needs. So yes, it took us. We had to go all the way to Meru to look for a special school. So you can imagine the cost of going till Meru just to look for a special school that's there. But then we came back after, I think my parents were networking with other people, their friends, to sort of look for a school that's around Nairobi. And fortunately enough, they got. But a special school, and if it's private, it's very expensive. Getting special needs teachers, it's really hard, because special education is um, it's needing, and every child needs that attention from the teacher. to have to gain a lot of how would I say it? Every child will need supervision, sort of, and someone who understands them because of their delayed milestones. The person needs that support and the repetitive learning of that specific subject for a person to actually digest the information that's given to us, because we autistic, I can see most of us, when when it comes to digesting information, it takes time. So you have to have the person who has that patience and the heart to accommodate such a person. So yes, it took a whole lot of money, a lot of patience as well, a lot of not listening to society and how they view an autistic person to kind of carry on that project of now your child needs to develop and become someone in society. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, quite, quite. I'm not even sure what to say, Sarah, at this point. But progressing, you have gone to the special school. So how do you progress with your education moving forward now that you have had to actually enroll into a private school? So are you able, in terms of your age, get in, or are you at the same class, probably with a person your age who is not on the spectrum? What exactly is happening at this point in terms of education, and how is the progression? Is the curriculum similar to the curriculum that we would be using normally, say in primary school, secondary school? How is that?
I would say it's the same, more or less the same, but it varies with the child that's being taught by the teacher in class, because I could differentiate between, when I was in my school, the former school that I was in, which was a mainstream school, I could differentiate the number of students that were in class. So in a special school, you're less. This gives the teacher the opportunity to focus on a few students. And I remember it started off well, like I was in class 5, when guys would learn more advanced in a mainstream school. I was still learning how to calculate some things because I have dyscalculia. Dyscalculia now is an issue, a difficulty in arithmetics. So I was still in that stage of learning how to calculate and some things. It varied, but that was how you could differentiate in a special school. And then within time, after that repetitive, there were I'm guessing these teachers that were teaching me, based on the curriculum of special needs, you have to be repeating something so that it's perfected to the students, so that they become perfect at that particular subject. So you're not rushed to finish the curriculum. Yeah. So I think that's how they are trained, basically.
Okay. So progressing to secondary school, was it still a special school, college?
Yeah, I actually went to two. One was Augustana Academy. That's where I was for a few years, I think 2 years. Um, Unfortunately, they had closed down. Then I had to go to Kestrel Manor. So I started my high school there in Kestrel Manor, and then the interesting the interesting thing about that school was I was, yes, um in a special school, but they kind of, because my peers weren't as they weren't really special. I wouldn't say special. They weren't neurodivergent per se. So they would mix the students with, according to how you are catching up in class, they mix you with someone who's just an ordinary student. But again, um, they give you exams according to how you can how you can handle or manage, in terms of like your performances. So I was there until I graduated. Um, and funny thing is, like, the last when I realized that I was autistic, I was like, I think 17 or 16, because this is how therapy works, and it's I would say it's sort of like a miracle, because um you would find there's some individuals that won't talk until a certain age, and once they start talking, they you can't even know if they're really autistic. I think that's how many people see me. And my issues was I didn't know how to read, I didn't know how to write, I didn't know how to understand things, even having a conversation with me, and have just having that patience, to sit down and actually have a conversation with someone. I didn't have it at all. So I get those questions like, so how are you autistic? And like, I'm telling them, I keep telling them that it's I can't really explain it, but what was brought to me in school, in a special school, was the therapies. Actually, it does wonders, because I seriously can't tell someone like, how did I start understanding things, or like, they people in society think that, yeah, we are in our own worlds. So I think I was shifted to the kawaida world, and like I'm so aware right now. So yeah, that's basically my journey in school.
Okay. The Yali program, of course, has a very tough criteria to just get in. So how did you find yourself, Yali, East African cohort of public management alumni?
Public management, yeah. um it's something that I still can't believe I managed to get through the program. But what I did is just basically express my feelings, and how, as an autistic advocate, how passionate I am for advocating for people like myself, and through my experiences, what I've learned, and how I was Light of Autism Kenya, and the kind of projects that I did with the foundations that I represented. And it's Yali, it's all about community and engagement with community. So I think even the essay, let me tell you, the essay, this is something that I've realized with time, especially when I was called by, when I vied to be a participant engagement committee member. I also expressed what I want to do with society, and things like that. So when I was called by one of the chairmen for as our committee, um, he called me for the, what's it called? There was a summit. There was an energy summit at KCC, and I was the only PWD. Okay, I wasn't the only PWD there, but there was a friend of mine who's also an alumni for Yali. She was there with me, and as we were engaging with youths that came for the summit, and they were really interested to know about the program and how to go about it. Some of them, like most of them, were telling me, so how did you enter, how did you get accepted for Yali, and yet it is a very competitive um, kind of program in form of an essay. So I remember telling her, it's all, you just pour all your heart into it and explain, like, I don't know whether it was my passion that let me let them accept me to be part of the program, because it's something that we lacked after, it's something that we lacked in representation in our society, because PWDs, especially the ones that are they have neurological conditions like autism, cerebral palsy, there's less representation of us in terms of leadership and stuff like that, because we are still a marginalized group. Everyone in society knows of the physical challenge, but what about the neurological conditioned individuals like myself? So that it gave me a realization that kumbe, this thing is really it's really competitive, and I didn't know. Like, I spoke to someone like just a few minutes ago, and he told me, you don't realize how awesome I am. So I'm like, and then, advocating as a neurodivergent like myself, it's not easy. It's it takes a lot of strength and courage to come and tell people about how different I am, and how we should be accepted in society. And yeah, yes, it is, and we like really break barriers. But it's my passion, it's my purpose ever since I was named Light of Autism Kenya. And before that time, I actually went through a whole lot. I was in college. I started college. I started off with the certificate course, and then since when I realized now that I actually finished and accomplished getting a certificate at a mainstream school, why not go to do continue with the diploma? So, diploma is a bit intense. I could not handle the diploma course that I was doing, and it was really weighing me down. And I went through depression. I even contemplated suicide. And then that's when, like, I knew now the only way out was actually, because I love social media, was to look for a support group, which my sisters really encouraged me to try and look for a support group that has people like myself. So I did that. I found a group. It's called Autism Alliance Kenya. And that's where I saw a poster for Mr. and Miss Light of Autism Kenya, an annual pageant that is held by two amazing foundations. This is Radiators in partnership with SEPA for Autism. So after the pageantry, imagine that was like my purpose of just raising awareness and becoming an advocate. Like, I didn't know it was never in my mind. And it was never in my mind something to do with advocacy. Why am I advocating? Something like that. But I saw like, if one door closes, another one opens, and it opened for me. So if it did for me, why not other neurodivergents? So I constantly want that in society too. I want that for many people in society. And in every project, in every thing I do as an advocate, I try and push that agenda. So yeah.
Okay. And of course, congratulations, Sarah, for making it to the Yali program, and of course for being named Miss Light Kenya. Of course, not a small feat. And of course, you've talked about persons with neurological issues or neurodivergent individuals being a minority in the space of persons living with disability. What would you say the policy environment is in Kenya, um, in terms of recognizing persons with who are neurodivergent? Do we have any policy? Do we have any law that supports, that recognizes you, that of course helps out? You mentioned therapy. Do we have avenues where such help is available from government?
Well, the policies are there, but it's on paper. Like, I'm being frank with many people. It's on paper. Just few. There are only few organizations or people that implement it, because um when we had our census, uh, PWDs were not really represented there. Like, we had a small percentage, and we actually asked ourselves the question: Is it real? Is it the real data that we have? Because if actually attaining a disability card, which is really hard. It took me like 9 months to get my disability card. And mind you, I had to go for another diagnosis. Um, this is because, okay, unfortunately, my mom had she had lost my diagnosis while we were moving out. So imagine going to Mama Lucy. Okay, first you go register yourself at Mbagathi. After registering yourself at Mbagathi, you're given a waiting card. The waiting card, you wait for some time, or you call up and ask if it's ready, or if the process is okay. You're sent to Afya House. Afya House again takes you to another place. For me, the medical report, we had to pay 10,000 at Mama Lucy. So I'm saying it can be beneficial for some people, but it can't be beneficial for some people. That is basically how it is here in Kenya, because if you're not connected, um, if you're not connected, or if you don't have an organization that can be done, that can guide you to go get a disability card, it is even hard to go get like therapy. Therapy is very expensive, and only a few schools in Kenya or Nairobi can actually have that initiative of getting for giving people therapy. And then there are some organizations that they give you therapy, but it's going as in like there's neglect. And this comes back to like a story back then where we're being told there was a I think expose about child welfare Kenya. I think it was 2 years back or 3 years, on how orphans are treated, PWD orphans are treated, and how shady therapy is done to them. It made me wonder, like, is there really, like, yes, they've been written down in the constitution, PWDs are prioritized and they should be priority, the first priority. It's, I don't know, it's basically, it's something we're still tackling. It's something we're still tackling, but there are few organizations that really hold the initiative of getting therapy for children who live in low income areas. There are people who go far, and like the allocation for funds for PWDs as well, and stuff like that. It gets, unfortunately, even getting help or just something to support for PWDs, it becomes political. So that's my take. That's just my view.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for being candid and opening up. Of course, I am getting that the journey, for instance, to get your disability cards and just being registered as a person living with disability or a person who is able differently hasn't been easy. So I'll ask, what then do you think can be done? What can be done better? Because, for instance, you mentioned a 9 month waiting period. You mentioned 10,000 Kenya shillings for assessment. What or how best do you think we as a society can help persons living with disability access services? Because I am believing this disability card is what then enables you get services, better services, if it's therapy, healthcare. What do you think can be done better?
I would simply say that just like let it if the initiative is there for a positive impact in society, it should be that alone. It shouldn't be for someone else's benefit. And we me and a few advocates like myself, we have noticed that there's a lot of political things going on if there's something to do with assisting or supporting a group of people that is going through something, like PWDs. We shouldn't be looked at as charity cases. Yes, we need support somehow, but it should not be taken in a way where you just want to do good to look good. And most of us in society, and it's I'm not being I'm being really real here, where we just want to look good. We want to do good to look good, and not maintaining um, that trait of assisting another person in society, because we're each and everyone's each and everyone's, how do you say, we're each and everyone's brother and sister, and we're humans. We're supposed to socialize and benefit from each other, but not in a way where it becomes so political, corrupt. These are the things that happen. Like, unfortunately enough, we're a political political country that follows politics like it's a religion, and unfortunately we carry those traits into like positive things in life, where impacting society, making each other become people in society. Basically, that's what I want to be hearing in society. Like, oh, okay, someone from this organization is helping this one and this one, as in without fights. Because yes, there are those situations where you find organizations are not like in link, or they're saying there's some like competitiveness in it. It should not be like that. In fact, we should be a whole community where we're like supporting each other, and yeah, let's come together and create impact in society despite our differences. Yeah, so that's what I would say.
Okay, Sarah, very passionate. You are born to be an advocate, to advocate for this cause, and I'm glad that you are in this space to just help advocate um, for neurodivergent persons within the community. And I am hoping that part of what this talk today will do is just open us to see what we can do to lend a hand. Yes, so I'd also just like to know for any of our listeners, probably a parent who has a child, they are not sure because, as you said, there are various spectrums. Yours is mild. There are those who have, one that is more intense. For you, how did you learn that you are neurodivergent, and what would a parent be looking out for, or what would be the tell sign that somebody is neurodivergent?
Okay, I would say firstly is going for an assessment, because that then confirms what challenge they're facing and how they can go forward, if it's in terms of therapy. And also caregivers, it's a whole lot for them to now dive into the world of neurodivergence. It's very hard. It's almost like we most of them would say it looks like a sentence of some sort, of which it isn't. um just finding a support group that has caregivers like yourself really helps, because then if you share experiences that you have with another parent who has the same challenges, you grow as a community, and you also get the same love that you're seeking from another parent. And that's how people form connections. And that it's not a sentence. It's something that we can manage. um, you can manage you and your child. You just have to put God as well. You have to put positivity, always remaining positive. But the support groups, I'm telling you, they really help. They make wonders, because then you know that you're not alone. Yeah. So.
So, of course, thank you, Sarah, for that. Of course, I'll be asking you to probably share with us some of the support systems that are available, the support groups. But is there anything in particular as a parent I should look out for? Or at what point should I go out and have my child assessed?
At what point?
Or what
The
should I,
traits.
is there any particular, I don't know whether to call it symptom or behavior in my child or in a child that should trigger the need for the assessment?
The signs. The signs are
Yes, the
normally there.
signs. Yes, thank you. The
The
signs.
signs. The signs that are normally there. You could check on, like, okay, I don't really advise people to check online, like Google signs and stuff, but there are so many articles that talk about neurodivergence and the traits that they may display or have. So once you tick that, like, on your list, and all the boxes are ticked, you can now go and I there's a occupational there's an occupational center in KNH, I think. So there, I think when you go book for an assessment, your child goes through the assessment and then is later on diagnosed if they have autism, or they have ADHD, or they have anxiety disorder. Yeah, but it's best to get the assessment first before anything else.
Okay. Okay. So the advice you would give is, as a parent, if is a bit of delay in the milestones, then you would advise that a person sits or has the child assessed.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sarah, of course, as I've said, this is not an easy story or an easy journey to share. And of course, we're very honored that you have decided to be an awesome autistic adult who can share your journey and your story. Um, so how has it been for you? You say you're very young. I will not mention the age again, but how has the journey been for the years? And is there, looking back, is there anything you'd have done differently?
My journey has been bittersweet, but ever since I found my purpose, ever since I met the two foundations that I represented, which is Radiators in Partnership for Autism, it humbled me. And seeing people around low income areas really struggling to get, because they give free therapy to children around Madare. So early in the morning, before even they go to work, the parents who take their children there get therapy from an amazing therapist there, every single Saturday for free. So that for me humbled me. It humbled me, and it made me understand that there's so much in community work that is fulfilling, and you get to impact people's lives, because um, it's something really fulfilling. I can't explain. My journey has, and I don't think I would, there is anything else I would change about it. It's been an amazing ride, and I'm still learning. um in terms of acceptance, I'm still on the journey of acceptance, because as a human being, like any other human being, every day I learn something new about myself as well. I learn about my weaknesses as an autistic person. I learn about my strengths. I learn the do's and don'ts as an autistic person. Um, yeah, and I learn in terms of like how I should be better, how I should be a better person to people like myself or people who are kawaida people. So it's a good thing that's happening, and it's a journey that I'm willing to take again.
And I just love that, Sarah, because what I have heard is that you'd not want it any differently. Yes, in the bitter, in the sweet, you are willing to walk this journey. And as is for everyone, we keep learning and unlearning and learning new things about ourselves. So again, as I'm saying, this is amazing that you're doing this. And I can see comments coming in. Keep them coming. Thank you very much. In case you have any questions for Sarah, kindly feel free to send them through our chat box so that as we conclude, we can have Sarah answer a few of them. And Sarah, for me, I think the last thing I'd want to ask, what do you think we can do differently as a government, as a country, as a society to empower children with autism? What do you think we can do differently to empower children with autism?
I would say promotion of inclusivity, because we are all human beings. We're just different in terms of uh, we're just differently wired. Just inclusivity, including us in some things. We may not have the voice to talk it out, but we have our weaknesses and strengths as well. We have goals that we have goals that we want to achieve. We have things that we admire, people we admire, uh, things we desire in, as any human being. Um, Many people think that PWDs rarely have relationships. I am in a relationship which is like 3 years, we're going to 3 years, and it's with a kawaida person, so we can have relationships and even plan to have a family. I mean, I have friends who are autistic like myself, and I think, yeah, they have children as well, so they can have a family and raise children. I mean, it's inclusivity as a whole is what I expect the government to do. I expect every person to do. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, gentlemen, listening. She's taken. Our beautiful lady is taken. Congratulations.
Thank
Amazing,
you.
amazing. So I love that you need to be included. Just because you are neurodivergent doesn't mean that you are different. And as the title today was, is that no human is limited. So your journey could be different from mine, but we are the same. And just to quote Les Brown, he says that at times many of us are not living our lives or our dreams because we are living our fears. And I am glad that, Sarah, you have not allowed your fears to stop you from living your life. So at this point, allow me to just check what our viewers are saying. We have Zekawe Kesa saying that he's glad to have tuned in, although he's having a bit of challenges with connectivity, but he hopes to have a recorded version of these. And I know Mr. Wekesa, he is a parent of another amazing, awesome autistic teenager. And I am glad that even he, as a parent, has not allowed the fears stop him from living their dream with a young teenager. So I'm glad you are able to join us. Fiona and Jerry, I see you joining us from the United States. Thank you. You're saying beautiful and very informative. Thank you. Patricia Mwangi, great eye opener. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. And yes, Sarah, all of us are very grateful that you have shared your journey. Angela Mambo, I know in the dark you have still taken time off to be part of this. You say, beautiful lady, great and informative session. Thank you very much for all your comments, for your kind comments and thoughts to Sarah. That girl N is saying very encouraging. I have a disability in muscular dystrophy, and she's saying thank you for sharing. Of course, as I said, Sarah, you are braving these, you are breaking barriers by just trying to lead a normal life as possible as it can, despite the challenges that you have just mentioned that people with disabilities are facing in Kenya. And of course, you are encouraging us and helping us understand that we should be open and include you in all that we do. So thank you very much for that. So Sarah, as parting shots, I can see that our time is moving very fast. Yeah. What would you want to tell a parent who is raising a neurodivergent child? What words of encouragement would you tell a person who is autistic or neurodivergent?
I would just like to tell them that they're not alone and hang in there because better days are coming. I know that sounds like a song, but imagine better days are coming because we're in an era where things that weren't possible back then are very possible right now because technology has changed. The mindset has changed. Just good things are coming. Yeah, just good things are coming, and keep on advocating for your child, for that autistic adults. Keep on keeping on as a person. Become stick. Don't give up. And if you feel like giving up, there's always a support group that you could go to on social media. There's so many support groups on social media that you can connect with others like yourself. That's how I started. In fact, I wouldn't be here if I didn't look for support groups. So they do really help. And yeah, that's basically it from me. Just keep on keeping on.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I believe that is for all of us. We keeping on. So Sarah, you keep mentioning your support community, your support groups. Could you be kind enough to just share which support groups these are, where any one of our listeners who would be interested in the information can get them?
Okay, there's one on Facebook called Autism Alliance Kenya. That's a group that is led by a parent, a caregiver who has an autistic child in the States, and she created that particular support group to accommodate parents who also have struggles with their child, and also understanding autism. You're accommodated there so that you don't feel alone, and you learn more things because not only is that group with parents, but also have a few therapists, and they educate people around neurodiversity, not just autism as alone. Which one is there as well? Yeah, it's just Autism Alliance Kenya,
Okay.
where most parents are being accepted caregivers.
Okay. So we have the Autism Alliance Kenya, a page on Facebook. So you
Oh,
can get it.
and then there's DTSK Kenya, Differently Talented Society of Kenya.
DTSK.
Yeah, DTSK Kenya.
Also on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. So we have two, the Autism Alliance of Kenya and the Differently Talented Society of Kenya,
Yes.
DTSK, also on Facebook. So for anyone listening who would like to join our support community, then you have two pages. And of course, Sarah, that girl M is asking, and I'm also asking, would you be kind enough to share your contacts with anyone, or a way to reach you for anyone who would like to reach out to you to continue with this conversation, to see how they can be part of helping change the conversation. So an
Yes.
email address or a number we can reach you via.
Yes, you can have my email address, which is Bosibori Sarah 4@gmail.com.
Thank you. That is Bosibori Sarah with a H
Yes.
4@gmail.com.
Yes.
So that girl M, you can reach Sarah at Bosibori Sarah 4@gmail.com. For any other parent who would like to get in touch with Sarah to just continue with this conversation, to see how they can they can link up with the community of neurodivergent individuals, then kindly feel free to engage with Sarah. Michael Abincha, thank you very much. You're saying this is it's an encouraging story, and indeed, no human is limited. And yes, I agree with you. Sarah has just shown us that no human is limited. Our journeys could be different, but depending on the attitude that you embrace, then you can do great things and, of course, break barriers. So, Sarah, a parting shot. What would your parting shot be?
I'd just like to say that I'm honored, and I'm really honored and humbled to have been part of this talk. And I normally don't, what's it called, take anything like this for granted, because I know that it always changes views on many people's minds about autistic people and individuals, because we have a lot of misconceptions about it. Yeah, so it's one of like my um goals or achievements. So I really hold this really close to my heart. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sarah. And just for anyone who did not get that, to get in touch with Sarah, her email is bosiborisarah, and Sarah has a H at the end, 4@gmail.com. You can also join the community, the support community for persons living with autism. So we have one page, Autism Alliance Kenya, on Facebook, and Differently Talented Society of Kenya, DTSK, also on Facebook. And I'm sure you're also able to get Sarah on either one of those two pages. I know Sarah is also on Facebook, Sarah Bosibori, Sarash.
It's
Sarah
Sash,
on Facebook.
Sash Bosibori. I don't know if I can type or
Yes, you can kindly
like,
search Bosibori on Facebook. And yes, of course, we can keep this conversation going. And of course, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. And of course, I'm urging all of you to be part of these weekly conversations every Wednesday here on our YouTube page, the Kajiado We Want. You can also find us via our Facebook page. the Kajiado we want, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. East African time. And of course, hit the subscribe button, share, click on your notification bell so that you're not missing out on the conversations that we are having here. Of course, every week we have something different. We have a different guest speaker. Sarah, as you type, I can see you have typed. Yes, I hope we can see that. Sarah, my last question to you. If you are an animal, what animal would you be and why, Sarah?
That's difficult.
Uh-huh.
I don't a bird.
Why?
A bird because that feeling of just gliding like an eagle. Yeah, when an eagle looks at its prey and it always glides towards it. I feel like sometimes when I'm really I'm going through something and I'm fighting it off, I always come up as like I always fight that feeling and get through the day regardless. So I would say an eagle.
An ego.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And of course, we know the ego is able to overcome so many things in its lifetime. And I think that perfectly describes you, Sarah. And of course, from us here at the Kajiado, we cannot wait to see what you are going to do, because I know you are destined for greatness. And of course, you're changing the narrative around issues of healthcare, mental health issues, and rights and inclusivity for persons living or persons who are neurodivergent. So, of course, this conversation continues, Sarah. We here at the CBO will see how we can support you in advocating for this cause. And of course, probably have you here once again to see how far you have gone with the advocacy, with championing for the rights of persons living with disabilities. And of course, I'm sure that girl M will be joining you as an advocate very soon. So thank you very much, Sarah, for taking your time and joining us. And of course, to our viewers, both local or those who are home based and those who are joining us from out of the county. I know there are people joining us from County 047 and other counties. And of course, for our international guests joining us from other countries, we appreciate you. We are honored that you are part of this conversation. And again, join us next Wednesday as we continue with these conversations. Of course, we will have something different, a different speaker, a different topic, a different conversations. And of course, if there is anything you would like the CBO to address as a topic, of course, within the thematic areas that were earlier mentioned, and we try as much as possible to limit them to our county. But if there's anything you'd like us to address, why not? Kindly share on the chat box and we will be looking at it. And who knows, the next speaker could be addressing the topic you choose. And if you want to be one of our speakers, kindly reach out. You never know, we could have you as our guest. So ladies and gentlemen, it's 9:20 Kenyan time. Kindly allow me to end this wonderful session. Of course, I want to keep this conversation going, but I know most of us have need to end our day. We need to just get some rest. But thank you very much, Sarah, for sharing your journey and being an awesome autistic adult. We hope to engage with you much more, and especially as a CPO within Kajiado County. And I'd like to wish all of us a lovely night, a lovely day, a lovely afternoon, depending on where you are tuning in from. So have a lovely one. And thank you again, Sarah, for joining us.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And all the best. All the best, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Sawa. Thank you, everyone.